backwards now.
I think this is a good note for everybody out there.
He says that I don't pull well on TikTok, so
He doesn't.
It's
It's just a fact. It just doesn't pull well. It's called social media for a reason, and it's not selfish media.
I just gotta clear something up. You weren't the 12th man on the field.
There is no easy way to get anything ever.
This is Mornings with Matt, the Deering Acting Studio podcast, where we discuss the connection between life and acting.
Alrighty, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mornings with Matt on the Deering Acting Studio podcast. I'm Matthew Deering, here with Brian Sweeney and Joey Sweeney. And this week we are thank you, Joey. This week we are talking about stories. And we've been diving into stories in every kind of different direction. And today's topic is how to rewrite your story. Braga, why don't you hand me that so I can plug your earpieces in there?
Thank you.
I see you pretending like
I'm pretending like they're on. I gave Joey a look like, "Hey, can you plug me in?"
like, hey, I'm desperate. I don't have a plug in.
Help me, please.
My plug. Oh, they can't see me. Dang it. They're stuck on Brian.
Help me, please.
I was being funny.
Help. He was being very funny.
And it didn't work.
Help! I'm holding the cord that doesn't fit.
All right, though, even though you can't hear me yet, we can hear you, Brian. So why don't we jump into that daily devotional?
Absolutely. Okay, today's verse is from Psalm 32:8. I will instruct you and teach you in the ways you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you.
So I picked this verse this morning because today we're talking about rewriting our story. And though it's the most empowering thing we can think about, it can be scary, and B, it can feel like nothing's happening.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to put this in there where God talks a lot about like, I got you. You got it, but you got to trust. And I'm going to instruct you and teach you and put you on the right path. And so then the idea is you got to listen when you're being redirected. Mm-hmm. And it's funny, God's timing, because when we look back at history and you actually look at moments in time, you could see something like, I don't know, a recession, or, somebody went through a period of time, before they became something else. And when you look back on something, you could be like, oh, that was relatively fast. Like, let's just say the country went through a recession for 3 years, and then we had a roaring comeback. And you look back on it and you're like, 3 years? In the history of the last 40 years, a little 3-year span to kind of go down and come back up, that's kind of nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you're in the middle of the 3 years and you don't know when the ending is, it's hard.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I'm in this right now, rewriting my story and trying to rehab my knee, and it's supposed to be 6 to 8 weeks. And I can tell you, I'm so done.
Yeah.
I'm at the beginning of week 5, and I'm still on crutches, and I'm like, when can I be done with crutches? It's all I can think about. Instead of focusing on the growth, the progress, the daily changes that are happening, it's just I can't see it.
Yeah.
I had you try out this red light machine. Mm-hmm. There's this stuff called red light therapy. One of our friends is letting us borrow a machine, and I was researching it, and it's supposed to be good for hair growth as well, and for cancer patients. And for people that are like going through immuno stuff, whatever. So like, I was like, Brian, you got to try this thing out.
Yeah.
So this morning you sat, you laid down, relaxed in front of the red light machine. How was that, by the way?
It was super nice.
Yeah.
It was relaxing and like the perfect amount of warm on your head. You felt like I was in a nest, like being cuddled. Like
That's awesome. And so here's what's cool though. And you had a sore back, so we were icing your back while heating your head.
yeah, that part wasn't as fun, the ice part.
But as soon
it
as
actually worked.
as soon
really
as
well.
the 5 minutes is done with then it's numb, then the ice feels good,
It
right?
does, yeah, 100%.
Crazy. So think about this, right? We don't this red light therapy. One of the things that it's struggling with is proof, and it's tough because right now the medical community cannot prove 100% that it works, but it cannot prove that it doesn't work either.
Yeah.
Right? So here's the issue. Like you laid in front of it and I was joking around. I'm like, I see a difference already. And then you said immediately, you go, well, I think my hair was growing back anyway. Like I think it was growing back. So now here's the problem with red light. So let's just say you don't do it and your hair doesn't grow back.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say you do it and you use it for 6 weeks straight and your hair grows back. You might be like, well, I don't know if it was the machine or not. Like, I don't know.
True.
That's the problem with it, right? And that's the problem with testing is you have to have some kind of like a control group of people, right? So, and then you need two people with your exact what you got going on.
Yeah.
And then one of you does it, one of you doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't think we can find an exact copy of Brian anywhere.
I don't know. We got Jason Statham is a pretty good doppelganger.
Give him a call.
That's true. That's true. I will give him that.
Yeah, I would have agreed with you until I saw Jason Statham in his last movie, and I was like, wait, Brian?
Brian? Hey?
And you're like, no, man, I'm in the hospital. I was like, are you sure? Because I think you're in my
TV.
TV.
On television. Yeah.
All right, so we got to trust God, and we got to know that we can rewrite our stories. And what does that look like? Yesterday we went through Joey's car getting stolen. Did you hear about this?
No.
You didn't hear the show?
No.
We mentioned that the key was left in your car. It was we brought it up.
You brought it up.
Of course, I had to. We got to talk. We got to speak truth in this show, Brian. We're not gonna. We don't hide truth from the people.
We don't hide truth. No.
It's okay, Brian.
But we didn't blame you.
Matt
did not
said
blame
it
you.
was my
Fair.
fault.
It was 100% Joey's fault. 100%.
That's great. That makes me feel better.
100%. But in your life, it's got to be 100% your fault.
Oh, it was my fault.
Right.
Yeah.
And in my life, it's got to be 100% my fault, really. And then everybody takes accountability in their own thing and everybody grows. So with Joey taking accountability, with Joey deciding that this is something that is his fault, now he's in a position where he can rewrite his future. And he mentioned this yesterday, and it's very powerful. He said, I don't want to be a victim. Because you feel, you get your stuff robbed.
Yeah.
Somebody breaks into your house, breaks into your car, even your car. Like somebody went into your car and like took stuff out of the middle console. You feel violated.
Yeah, 100%.
So you could go and you could say, I'm this kind of person and this stuff always happens to me. I'm so unlucky or I'm so stupid and why did I do this? And that's a negative story that you're telling yourself. And what happens is more of that stuff continues to happen.
Yeah.
That's a storytelling inside your mind. Now you can change that story and you can turn this into something positive, something growth. And this is what we did with Joey yesterday. We found how we were going to hold ourselves accountable for something that in every way possible, you have an excuse to make excuses.
Yeah.
But if we learn something from Viktor Frankl, who went through the Nazi camps and didn't make excuses, we can go, okay, if he can do it, I can do it in pretty much any situation. And then you get yourself into a place where you're going, okay, what story do I want to write? What do I want my future to be like? If I were that thing, what would I be doing? So you look at like, again, like I've been talking about this recently, right? So you need divine purpose. Like crazy, right? And the people at the studio need you, love you, want you to be here. And I know you want to be here too, and it's a part of your calling. And I think maybe even more so a part of your training, right, guy? But you know your story too. You know your dreams. You know what you and I have been predicted about doing.
Yeah.
And it includes you on a big stage in front of a bunch of people. Or and maybe this is the stage, I don't know. But you're on a stage impacting specifically teenagers, helping them, shaping their lives. And then when you see that guy, you can't lose sight of the dream. You can't lose sight of the vision. And you go, okay, what does that guy do? How does he wake up? What is he thinking about? What did he do the last week? And then you're like, okay, am I doing that?
Yeah.
And if I'm not, well, that answers the question. If I haven't been doing what that guy does for 2 years straight, that's why I'm not that guy yet.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. That completely makes sense.
I mean, I look at you and I just see you beating up bad guys
I
in alleyways.
feel that way about my life. Yeah. Just way cooler. Way more people just like look at me like, yeah, let's go.
Like, let's go.
I just want to have coffee sometimes and people just want to fight like ninjas out of nowhere. And I'm like, I'm just trying to have a coffee, guys.
Right.
Like-
but then you fight the ninjas.
Of course I fight the ninjas.
While drinking your coffee.
Of course. And I don't spill a drop.
Of course not. You're Jason Statham.
Yeah.
I bet it's one of the ninjas that took my car.
Oh,
Uh,
dude. As long as we got Brian with us, we can go hunt down the people that stole your car.
we totally can.
Like,
Yeah.
we're good.
It's a new movie.
Oh my god.
Newest movie's coming out. It's
That's
called
so
Joey's
funny.
Car.
That's so funny.
All right. So really, how do we rewrite our story? It starts with your thoughts. Your thoughts become feelings. Your feelings become actions. This is something I was working on literally 10 years ago. And I didn't have the discipline at the time because I tried to write a book about it about 10 times. And I just couldn't be disciplined to do it. I was just lazy, period.
That would be a good 4-chapter book.
Dude, it's
Or
great.
maybe even
It's a great
5.
book. It's an acting book. It's
Yeah.
It's perfect for acting. Thoughts, feelings, actions equal good acting. I had a
Yeah.
formula for it.
Exactly.
And
then,
I was
like,
testing
each
it on-
chapter could
Yeah.
be one of those, and then the last one maybe ties it all together.
Bro, I have notes, I have videos, I have audio recordings of myself going through this theory of the way it works, and I was testing it on different actors. I was literally giving free private lessons, making people sign NDAs, and I was testing out my formula, and it was working on everybody. Every age. Like, it was like, it works. And now 10 years later, it's like, of course it works. Of course.
Yeah.
But that's how ideas pass you by. Is I didn't have a strong enough story about myself to decide that I could do it, that I could follow through, that I would finish this idea. So I shared it with everybody, but I didn't have the wherewithal to finish. I wasn't a finisher, which is why it's so important to me now to finish. That was one of my big changes. I changed that part of my story. So the question is, what do you want to change in your life? What area right now are you like, I want to change this thing? Okay, cool. You can. First, you got to take accountability for where you are, no matter what it is. And this stinks sometimes. Like Brian lost his fingers and his toes.
Yeah.
Now he's lost his hair.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you got to take accountability for that. And you're like, that sucks, but it's true. And if you can't, you go, how can I? How can I? Is there any way I can take accountability? Because if I can, then I'm not a victim anymore. I'm no longer a victim. And whatever this thing is gets to be the thing that empowers me. And I go back to Viktor Frankl and I say, because he went through things that were so horrifying, because the bad was so bad, it makes the redemption story that much more interesting. And I've told you this from day one, is like, you got all the bad.
Yeah. 100%.
You know, now it's, what are you going to do with it? Are
Yeah.
you going to be powerful through it? And whatever you do with that, like, that's your story.
Totally.
The other part is the preface.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's the premise, right? It's the, you know, we talked about the short stories, which we're going to tell you how to get into that today as well, and our takeaway. But in our short story, my example was, guy decides he wants to go on an adventure, gets in his car, goes to the mountain, climbs the mountain. On the way up, hits a bunch of obstacles. By the time he gets to the top or doesn't get to the top, he realizes something about himself and he changes. There's an outline for the story. Okay. And there's like a lot of movies like that.
Yeah.
You know, pretty much that's every movie. Like the mountain is the obstacle, right?
Yeah.
And there's like more obstacles, but you have this dream, you have this vision, you have this, okay, I'm going to do it. And you go on your adventure. Well, right now your deal is like, okay, guy got the adventure idea, get in a car, you get in a car accident on the way to the mountain. And you're thinking the car accident is the story. No. It's the fact that you still make it to the mountain.
Yeah.
Dang.
Totally.
It's a good point.
You like that?
Yeah.
Joey's like, oh, dude.
It's really good.
Look what he did there. He like wrapped it all around.
Yeah. All right.
It's time now for Joey Sweeney's Terrible Illustrations.
It's a bit out of focus.
Oh, it always is. You can never see Joey's illustrations.
For-
There's always lines going. Wait, hold on. Can we play a game with Terrible Illustrations, Joey?
Sure.
Do you mind?
Yeah.
All right. So Brian and I are going to try to interpret what that is based on what we can see on the screen. Brian, you're not allowed to look at it in person because this is what everyone else is seeing.
I see.
All right.
Okay.
So I see a stick man, and then I see like a fuzzy ball.
I see.
And so it must be that the fuzzy ball is an alien, and it's flying toward the stick man, who's doing a little pose thing. He's doing the Macarena.
I see.
So this is about teaching the Macarena to alien civilizations and changing the way aliens think. You're changing the alien story. So that's rewriting the alien story. That's what I think Joey's trying to say. What do you think, Brian?
Wow. That is very, very deep. I see the stick man as well.
Okay. Yeah.
I see that behind him is a path driven by an arrow, and there's a little mini fire there. There's a little like fire that you can see that I can't see now. There it is, yeah. And the fire is chasing after the person, and it's a symbolism of the idea of that just be on fire with your life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it is.
It's a little fireman
It's
running after.
be fire. Let the fire chase you
Yeah. Yeah, let the fire chase you, but don't let it hit you, because
you're gonna get burned.
you're going to get burned.
All right, now
what
I'll
I see.
illustrate. So it's a pot of gold, right? Which is your idea.
Nobody can see a pot of gold.
And then it says discipline on the arrow. And
Nobody
you're
can see that
walking
either.
past the discipline.
Oh, I
see.
So
Yeah.
what? So okay. So you get to.
I don't know. You say nobody can see that every time, and then in the comments they're like, "Oh, I saw that." I'm like,
Or
We'll start putting the photo up on
or
Instagram.
they're liars.
or what else could
Or
be
they're
interesting,
liars.
Joey? What else would be possibly interesting? Would be the idea of this. I've said it's pretty hard to see. So with the one time that I wanted to do illustrations on the show with my daughter, what did I do? I brought in blank paper that didn't have lines on it and marker so we could be able to see it easier.
We need markers.
Well, we have markers. It's just a matter of Joey
have
hasn't
markers.
chosen to grab them.
We have markers that
it's
you
true.
can grab.
So if we got to a place where Joey changed his story
I was waiting for him to say that. Yeah.
about how he drew his illustrations
Yes.
and maybe made them a little easier to see, I actually think this segment is hilarious. You should draw and we should guess.
And it's
and then we'll find out what it really is.
I love that. And it's a new Instagram post every week, or every day, or whatever.
Yeah.
Put up the illustration.
So funny.
Boom.
So
Done.
funny.
Done.
Yeah.
Okay. It's time for break. When we come back, we are going to deal with you rewriting your story, both the short story you've been working on this week and the story of your life. How to do that, take some action. We will be back for our quick takeaway after this message.
Which is pulling up.
No.
I chose steering because I feel like I can take everything that I've learned in acting class and apply it to the real world, to business, to interviews, and just meeting everyday people, learning how to listen better, and it's been an amazing experience so far.
I tried to explain. I don't want you to think about getting through the monologue. Yes.
Let's go!
Because my job isn't to work the monologue. My job is to work on you.
It's not about how many classes are on the resume. It's about your work ethic and persistence.
Who's further along than they were when they walked in the ring?
Circle up, please.
Your lives will all be changed and you'll grow if you really learn to listen in this way.
Will you help me kill her?
You have to react to that from his point of view as honestly as possible.
Punch him in the face. No, you don't know nothing. Come on.
As soon as you've solved the puzzle, the scene's over.
Alrighty, Joe Man, we're back.
There
I
we
hear
go.
myself,
Not anymore.
but I did,
Yeah.
and now I don't.
Hi, Nick. Hi, Breezy.
Thanks,
Thought
Brian.
I'd say hi.
It ain't easy being breezy.
It ain't easy being Breezy.
Oh, man.
Breezy.
Don't give Matt names to rhyme with.
You got to give me names to rhyme with, Joe. It's everybody's favorite part of the show, other than terrible illustrations. All right, so I got a quote here. If you take responsibility for yourself, you will develop a hunger to accomplish your dreams. This is what I was talking about with Joey yesterday. If you can take accountability, you develop a hunger for your dreams. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, where I am is what I've done, and both the good and the bad. So not only do you take accountability for the stuff that you got to grow in, the stuff that goes wrong, but you got to take accountability for the stuff that goes right too. Mm-hmm. How many good things have you done, Brian? Tons.
So many things.
You got to take accountability for that.
Gotta celebrate.
Got to celebrate it. That's right.
CLG.
That's right.
That's right. Celebrate, learn, grow.
Yeah.
Winston Churchill said, "The price of greatness is responsibility."
For the good and the bad.
For the good and the bad. You got to take responsibility. You got to go, you know what?
He's like,
We got ourselves here.
I can't celebrate my win battles if I don't learn from the losses, you know?
Well, there's been movies made about this, but Winston Churchill is one of the major reasons why Hitler went down. Huge moment in time when he stepped up when everybody wanted him to back down. Because they were taking losses. And you go, you know what? One thing to look at is like, how does he take accountability for his guys getting killed? And then still do something about it. And he can go, you know what? Maybe we gave Hitler too much power. Maybe it's our fault that he got into this place in the first place, that we looked the other way for too long. That's on us. It's going to cost us, but we got to do something about it. Changes history.
Yeah.
Churchill was one of those guys that he was a weird dude, but he had a lot of interesting habits and rituals. He was very, very specific about when he woke up, what he did. His stuff was a little weird, though, because he would wake up super early and he would work, but he would stay in his pajamas and in his bed for a long time.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
I mean, I think he just predicted that was going to be the future, that there was going to be a point where we could just chill in the beginning of the day.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that.
It took till 2020, but his prediction was correct.
But, it might have been one of those deals where he was like, not wanting to make a decision about where to go, what to wear, that kind of thing. Like he would just grind it out. He'd be in the bed for like a lot of the day, but he would always read, always write, always like do productive things in a particular window, and then he would always go outside and he would always walk almost every day.
Maybe he just that's his sacred space, just like the studio was for you in the early mornings before the show and all this. Like maybe that was just his spot. He
Could
was
be.
like, All the other spots I got, there's people there.
Yeah.
And people are distracted. I need my bed,
Could be.
but I can't sleep in it.
As long as he gets it done, it doesn't really matter.
And
right?
it's let's be real. It's not like Winston Churchill had a Tempur-Pedic. You know, he probably his bed probably wasn't that comfortable.
Yeah.
I
True.
think we should discuss his bed for a while.
Well, once he became the prime minister, it was probably, I think that's what you call it over there, prime minister. Yeah. Once he got to the highest position, I'm sure he had the Tempur-Pedic of his time.
Yeah.
Sure,
But
yeah.
before that, on his way up, that's the other thing about Churchill, man. I don't know. You got to watch some of this history on him. It's pretty interesting, dude. How he overcame. But he was a weird dude.
Yeah.
But I think most successful people are weird dudes,
I had to, for my economics class, watch this like
or dudettes, by the way, dudes or dudettes.
Dudettes,
There's a lot of weird dudettes that are crazy successful.
I had to watch this history thing called The Men Who Built America, but it was actually
That thing was tight.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was
I
so
love
cool.
That. Yeah.
But like
Brian's like, that was my favorite part of history class
Yeah.
for 8 years.
It was
that
Joey.
one video.
No, I didn't go to class for it. Joey did. And I was like, he was watching it. And I was like, I got way into it.
Really?
Like, way into it.
yeah, it's like this nice. I'm pretty sure they have it on Amazon Prime now, but it was they used to play it on like the old box TV that like hisses to at Wickenburg, but basically it just goes into the past of all those guys and their grind, like Carnegie and everybody who built the railroads and the banks and all that. It was
Yeah.
really neat.
What's with the audiobooks when they call him Carnegie?
I don't
What
know.
is that?
So annoying.
It's Andrew Carnegie.
Carnegie, guys. Carnegie.
It's always been Carnegie.
Or I'd been saying it wrong for forever.
It's
I
possible.
don't know.
But if that's true, then why is it Carnegie Hall? Like he named it.
Maybe it's Carnegie Hall and we've been saying it wrong. I don't know. But it feels like every
I'm pretty sure
audiobook,
every movie
like
ever.
every single one that mentions his name calls him Carnegie. And I'm like, why do you keep calling him Carnegie? Either you're wrong or I'm wrong, but one of us got to change.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right,
Good
so
stuff.
we want to rethink our thoughts. So we want to rewrite our story. So here's how easy this is. If you've been following along this week, I want you to take the short story you've been working on that you really got to start writing yesterday, and now I want you to rewrite it. And here's what I want you to do. Whatever the conflict was, whatever the mountain, I want you to make the mountain bigger, much bigger, 10 times bigger. Whatever the goal was, make the goal bigger. Then I want you to give your hero the tools they need. And those tools come from the inside. They're an inside job. So it's like, okay, I might have a butter knife, but what could I do with a butter knife? Like MacGyver, you know? Like I walk around, I'm like, okay, I got a string, I got a butter knife, and a match. We're good. Let's go. Tony Robbins likes to say this. He says, most people they complain about certain things. Like he'll be like, okay, why didn't you reach your goal? You know, why didn't
Didn't have time.
Like
they
didn't
threw
have
out an
time.
excuse.
Yeah. Like Brian, I've asked you, like, why have you not written your book yet? And you're like, well, I didn't have time. All right, and I didn't have the money. I didn't have this. So Tony Robbins says, most people complain about resources. Like, oh, I don't have the resources. But the truth is, what happens to people that have unlimited resources?
They tend to not go as hard.
Yeah, they tend to not be successful, most of them. Like it's rare to find somebody who has unlimited resources, who's really grinding it out, who's really doing next level things.
Because they didn't have to.
Because they didn't have to. That's
well,
right.
you kind of feel for those people too, a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you know, you put yourself in their shoes and you're like, okay, you grow up with unlimited resources, right? Well, then it's even harder to get your mind right because it's like, what do I set my goal on?
You're already at the top of the mountain.
Exactly. So you're like, it has to be, like you said, within your goal, something about you, which is hard if you're not taught that way and you have unlimited resources.
Yeah. So going back to Tony Robbins, what he says is rather than focusing on the resources, you focus on resourcefulness. How can you be resourceful with the resources that you have, with your given circumstances. What can you do? And you focus on that. And then what's interesting is, as you become more resourceful, then your resources change. So you know, that was one of the main things around here. Like, if we look at all the equipment we have, even just for this podcast, I learned this lesson, and I was already going through my sort of self change, and so we learned on old microphones, on an antiquated system, on something that was borrowed, something that we had to come in and set up and tear down every single day. We earned the right to buy new things and then learn the new thing. And that there's a difference there. Like, we were resourceful first, figured it out, decided what we were going to do, and then we kind of upgraded and went from there. So the idea being, you could go out and get a fancy microphone or a fancy camera, or, you know, like a whatever. You know, you could go out and get a loan for your small business, open the doors, and have all the money you need, have everything ready to go, and then fail miserably because you're not resourceful. You have the resources, but you're not resourceful.
Yeah.
And we found this out when the pandemic hit. We've seen which businesses are thriving and which ones are not, which ones were resourceful, which ones found a way, which ones decided, hey, quitting is not an option. We may have failures back in 2020, but quitting, not going to be a choice.
Yeah. I got this little keyboard thing because I love music, and it kind of ties right into this because I'm terrible at it. But I only got it this week, and I was talking with you, and I was like, yeah, it's probably going to take me like 6 months or a year to even be competent in this. But I'm enjoying it because it's challenging, it's fun, it's music, it's what I like, and it's a challenge. It feels like editing in a different language.
Right.
You know, but if I ordered it and was just like, oh yeah, like, that's so easy, I'm just gonna, like, then it would just sit on a shelf.
Yeah.
If I didn't put the work in.
Yeah. Or if you would have gotten, so think about what a waste it would be if you got that keyboard and it was like 100 times nicer.
Oh yeah.
You know?
It'd be stupid.
It was handed to you and you had no idea how to use it. And it was super complicated. It had all these cool tricks and things, but you have no idea. And then think about how even worse it is. You get that keyboard handed to you, just given to you 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Then it literally rots on a shelf. And you try to open it up because you think it looks cool a couple times. You either break it or you just never use it, and it sits there and you're like, that's too complicated. And that's the idea. That's the having unlimited resources idea instead of learning to be resourceful.
Yeah, and this topic would probably be another episode completely, but there was, when the car thing happened, he had just gotten that thing. Like, just gotten it.
Totally.
Just came in. So his first instinct right away was, well, I'll just return it, you know, because of the car. Like, now I got to save for this car or whatever. And I was like, no, dude, like, you can't return this thing. Like, this is something that you have been super passionate for a long time, and you pulled the trigger on it. Pulled the trigger on getting it and learning it and doing it. You got to keep this thing.
I'm confused about what you're talking about.
So basically, that's why I said it might be another episode. But he bought this thing, right?
You're talking about the keyboard or the car?
Yeah, the keyboard.
Oh, you kept saying car.
But because the car got stolen, he was going to return the keyboard.
Got it.
And I was like, you can't return this just because this bad thing happened. I was like, literally, I'll pay for it if I need to. But, like, you just bought this thing to enhance your growth, to do something that you're really passionate about, to sort of light you up when you get home. Instead of jumping and playing a video game or whatever, you're doing something creative that's going to be inspiring for people. And so, like, that can't go away just because a bad thing happened, basically. Like, just because this thing happened, I can't just take this fun thing away that's really powerful. That was my point.
I like that. Well said. Good advice.
Thank you.
It was sound
Thank you.
advice,
It was
yeah.
Totally off topic, but
Would have been...
No, it was not off
couldn't help
topic.
it.
It was not
No,
off topic.
'cause I
You
brought
kept
it
saying
up.
buy the car.
Yeah, I missed.
So that's why I was trying to understand. Once I understood it, I'm like, that's a great point, and totally on topic. That's like a Jason Statham type statement.
Thank you.
Very, like, surgically awesome.
Thank you. I'm just working out over here while we're doing the show.
All right. So here's the last homework assignment. So you're going to rewrite your short story. Hopefully you've been doing that along the way. But for anybody who is not keeping up with that, and just for you, one assignment for anybody that can do right now, all right? And it's twofold. The first step is to take a past memory of some kind and rewrite it. Something that's been holding you back, something that's been negative, and rewrite it into the positive. And I always say this, we forget a lot of our life, like most of it. We don't remember things unless we're reminded of them. I have memories from childhood that are actually not my memories. They're other people telling me that things happened, and I don't really remember them. Not really. I have vague ideas and I have visualizations based on somebody else's interpretation of that thing. And so, like, okay, here's a for instance. There's a story somebody's told me, and this is a gross one. I'm going to tell you a gross story about myself. There's a story of me picking my nose and eating it in front of somebody that the family thought was very important. And someone told, and this story went around. I was like, "You did this thing, Matt." Ha 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 ha. And the way it was presented was shameful. It was a shameful thing. Mm-hmm. So I felt shame. Thanks a lot for telling me that story the way, because I don't remember it. So thanks for lodging that memory into my mind, whether it happened or didn't happen. The way you presented it, man, it made me feel bad. So now I can go back because I don't actually remember it. Somebody else told me it happened. I don't know that it did. Mm-hmm. I could even say it happened, but this was the result. It was entertaining. I was completely free. I had no idea of my surroundings, and I was willing to just like pick my nose, eat it, like like I can turn this into a positive that's not shameful. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna take a memory, something that you got going on, and dig deep, go back, and go like, okay, which memory do I want to rewrite? And all I want you to do is just assign a new feeling to it. So like we can take any of Brian's pain, and I know you've already done a lot of this work where you reassigned positivity and inspiration and like taking first steps and different things, and we worked through a lot of that at the time. Mm-hmm. But now you look back and you're like, those were powerful changing moments in my life that matter, that make me who I am.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you stand on firm ground and you're no longer a victim to the memory.
Yeah.
So there you're literally rewriting your own memories so that they serve you versus hurt you.
I love that.
You like that?
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories that Brian and Jimmy told me that made me feel that way, for sure.
It's sweet. That's how cool is that? That you're going to get to take it and rewrite it. Mm-hmm. You know? In the way, and so that you're the hero of the story.
Yeah.
You know? A lot of times we get told stories about ourselves and we're the victim or we're the bad guy.
Yeah.
Why don't we rewrite that memory that we're the hero and that we fought through whatever the obstacle was? Even the bad stuff you might have done. Mm-hmm. You rewrite it so that you're the hero. Like, and we go back to your car, you're the hero in this. Mm-hmm. Not the victim, the hero.
Sure. Who
bought the car, who overcame, who did positive through it, who then got the next car that was bigger and better and whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And you're already there in your mind. You've already written this memory and you look back on it, you're like, the recession was only 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, like having my car stolen, like it's a memory that goes like that. And I'm like, actually, when I look back on my life, that's a very short period of time that I was without a car. But now I get to tell that story the way I want to tell it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was really neat. I was on the phone with my dad yesterday, and he said exactly that, and I just didn't realize like how aware people are. But he said, because he was talking about it and just asking if there was an update, and he was like, well, I said it before, I'll say it again. I mean, it's just a material thing. He was like, and it sucks because you saved for so long to get that thing. But he was like, but the work you did and the determination you did and the saving you did, he was like, I'm proud of you for that, whether you have the car or not. And that like almost brought me to tears yesterday.
Hearing a statement like that from your father is priceless.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Worth the price of a car. Mm-hmm. Literally. To hear your dad say, I'm proud of you. Priceless. There you go. There's your story.
Yeah.
Boom. And he's right. Like whoever stole the car can't take away the skills you've gained. Mm-hmm. Can't take away the good habits you formed in order to get the car.
Yeah, that's true.
They can just take the car, but they can't take your mind. They can't take all the grind that you did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's first assignment. Rewrite a memory. Then second assignment is to attach that. Go, okay, what is that memory holding me back from? And then look at whatever your like one of your goals is right now, and just like we did in our short story, make the mountain bigger. Whatever the goal, make the goal bigger. And then go, okay, what do I got to do? How can I be resourceful with what I have right now and start implanting good thoughts, positive thoughts that make me feel a certain way that will impact me and get me to move and to act the way I want to be acting. All right, that's your assignment. This has been the Mornings with Matt show. Thank you so much for watching. God bless.
There was no tail.
There's no what?
God bless.
There's no.
Thanks for listening to Mornings with Matt. Please like, subscribe, and follow us at Deering Acting Studio to keep up with the latest content. For more information on classes, private lessons, or professional development coaching, visit www.deeringstudio.com. Have a Deering day, everyone.
Have a chippy day, everyone. Rough.